Welcome back, fans. I guess we're not going to have to do the intro, not quite the same way as the producer is off at a festival. But regardless, hey, welcome PGF fans, grappling fans, and especially, as of late with our gym owners series, Colorado Jiu-Jitsu fans. So I think we've been having a good time lately, talking to a bunch of great owners of jiu-jitsu schools, getting their backstory, hearing about their cultures, giving you insight into what the scene is like. As lately and going forward. Co-host Donald Rose now is here with us, and of course, we also have from TAPS BJJ, Jesse Tapsfield. So welcome aboard, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me.
So we're gonna do something a little bit weird, not weird, but just different here. Because we're doing a peaceful transition of power in this podcast, a little bit, just a little bit. I'm sharing, the talking stick, if you will, a little bit, and so I will be allowing, having the honor of having Donald run most of this interview, and I'm going to chime in every once in a while. So we're going to kind of reverse roles. So Donald, take it away, sir.
Awesome. I had no idea that's what was happening today. So that's great. Let's go ahead and get on with it. Hello, Wolverines crew. So have the honor of introducing a pillar of the community, Jesse Tapsfield, owner of TAPS BJJ. He's a retired police officer, I believe, 20 years on the force. He is a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, got his black belt from Steve Hordinsky, owner of Catharo Jiu-Jitsu. He was raised in the wilds of Seward, Alaska. He is a man of God, and we are very interested to talk to him today. Give it up for Jesse.
Ooh.
Hey,
No soundboard, okay.
I thought we were going to get a Wolverines when I said the Wolverines deal, but that's okay.
Yeah, there we go.
There we go. Nice.
Okay.
Jesse, I'd love to get right into it, my man. Could you go ahead and just give us a background about yourself? The hyphenated story and what got you into jiu-jitsu?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. That was a legit intro. That's better than I could do. Talk about myself. But what got me into jiu-jitsu? So right now, you already mentioned it. I'm the owner of TAPS Jiujitsu. We've been open for about 3 years now. The story of me getting jiu-jitsu is kind of a multifaceted answer. Like as a kid, so I grew up, so I'm 44, about to be 45. So as a kid, I grew up in the 80s and 90s, best decades. And when you grow up, you start watching these movies, right? You watch the Rockies, Karate Kid, First Blood, Rambo, all that type of stuff. And when I was a kid, I just had that desire. I'm like, I want to be that. Whatever that is, I want to be that. And so in the simplest way to say it, I want to learn how to fight. And I wanted to be dangerous, and it's going to sound super corny, but I wanted to be badass. That was like kind of my my thought growing up. I grew up in a small town, like you mentioned it, in Seward, Alaska, and those opportunities weren't available. We had sports and things like that, which I played throughout my childhood and even into college. I played college football, so I've always had this desire to learn that, and I didn't know where to find it. It wasn't available to me in Seward. But I always say, this is not a phrase I made up. It's something I believe in. I always say is that we as men always have a dragon that we want to slay, right? And there's something we want to conquer. We want to feel dangerous, not dangerous like in an evil way by any means, but like we want to feel capable. And so it's always been in my heart, I guess, if you will, ever since I was a little kid. And once I graduated, let me go back just a little bit. While in college, I had some, this is a story that just about any jiu-jitsu practitioner could say, but when I was in college, my friend showed me the UFC. We had VHS, UFC 1, 2, 3, and because it's probably right around the year 2000. And when I saw these videos, this first time I've seen them, and they told me the background of these, you got to watch these UFC fights, and they kept bringing up the Gracie family, kept saying the Gracies. No idea what they're talking about. And so we pulled in the VHS tapes, and I was hooked. I was like, all right. I'm like, this is legit. And it's like being an 80s, 90s kids, a dream comes true, seeing different styles fight against each other. And so I'm like, this is amazing. I couldn't believe it was real. I keep trying to remind myself this really happened. This is a real thing. Style versus style, right? And you always grew up thinking karate was the most dangerous, or boxing, or whatever the case may be. I didn't even know what jiu-jitsu was, what Brazilian jiu-jitsu was, or Gracie jiu-jitsu, whatever you wanted to call it at that time. And so I saw Hoist come out and beating everyone. I see him go, like, voluntarily go to his back, and I'm like, oh man, he's gonna get beat up, and he winds up submitting, Dan Severn and all that type of stuff. So I'm like, all right, there's an art out here. Boxing was my desire. I wanted to box, but I saw this art, and in my naive brain, I thought, well, that's just a family that knows it out in Brazil. That's not available to me. I was in Southern California at the time, and at Azusa Pacific University, and little no, I was a hotbed of jiu-jitsu, but at my age at the time, 18, 19, I was clueless and I didn't know. And so I'm like, well, I'll put that in the back burner. I was in school, college football. And so I was too busy to do it anyway, and too poor. And so once I graduated, I found a boxing gym nearby at a rec club, a community involvement park. And I trained in boxing at first. That was kind of my first love in combat sports, Baldwin Park. I kind of land this plane here, but and then I got into law enforcement. That was never actually my goal, was to be a cop. I kind of fell into it. I can talk about it later if the opportunity presents itself. But I became a police officer, and it was kind of like a replay of those college days of, like, just so many people kept talking about the Gracie family, the Gracie family, the Gracie family. That's the name I heard. And I was like, all right. And then they'd bring instructors in that were black belts in jiu-jitsu. This is back in 2005, and there wasn't tons of them, I would say, like, not like there is today, but tons of them back in 2005. So anytime a black belt came in, it was this big ordeal. And they'd bring some in the police academy to be guest instructors, what have you. And I'm like, soon as I graduate, because now I was making a little bit of money, not a lot back in 2005 for police officer buzz, making enough I could go to jiu-jitsu. And so I'm like, as soon as I graduate, I am signing up. I did. And so I started jiu-jitsu, and so I started my law enforcement career in June of 2005. Started jiu-jitsu of January of 2007. So it was about a year and a half after I started.
What was the gym?
It was actually, I was actually out in Virginia. I was working with the feds for 2 years, and it was Lloyd Irvin. I actually I brought that name up the other day, and no one in my class, and no one knew who that was. Like, man, times like, people don't know who Lloyd Irvin is anymore. But anyway, I know his whole story went controversial and everything. But I was actually an affiliate gym of Lloyd Irvin. It's called Nova MMA, North Virginia Martial Arts. I did that for 6 months. Moved here, changed jobs. I started working for Jefferson County Sheriff's Office in 2007. When I moved out here, this is the name, blast from the past too. I don't know if you remember it, Donald, but Brad Gum, he had his MMA gym in Littleton, Lakewood area. And so I started training with him in 2007. So yeah, kind of extended version of why I started jiu-jitsu, but that's the Read Your Digest version of it.
No, that's awesome, man.
It's been wild, just like hearing you've just gone all over the dang United States, man. I mean, from Seward, Alaska to Azusa State, in SoCal. I mean, and just did a quick Google because I was a little curious because, like, the producer of this show just finished up his college football career. He was a defensive lineman. So I had to ask what position when you were. But not only were you a wide receiver, so a fast guy, but you were part of a pair.
Yeah. Wow, your research is good. I'm impressed.
Jamie.
I have an identical twin brother. He actually has hair though. I don't know how that works. We have identical but yeah, he still lives in Los Angeles.
So did they come up? How did they recruit you out of Alaska? That's wild.
So we actually reached out to them, and we were looking for, at the time, coming out of high school, we were looking for a Christian college in Southern California that had football. Azusa was the only one that did, at least at that time. And so we kind of reached out to them. We're like, hey, we're interested. And then that one of the recruiters linked up with us. We sent them our tape and game tape and whatnot and highlights, and you know how that goes. And then and they're like, yeah, so come on down. They kept in touch with us, and yeah, that was it. We wound up staying. We redshirted our freshman year, so we did football for 5 years there.
Yeah, but then you went from SoCal to Nova.
Yep.
I mean, again, what made you jump from one part of the country to the almost direct opposite?
Yeah, good question. So when I went to school, I was actually going to be a physical therapist. That was my goal. I was going to be a physical therapist. I'm going to give the very short version. And by the time I graduated, I was done with school. I didn't want to go anymore.
Sure.
I still had to go to doctorate school and all that type of stuff, which was a 3-year full-time program. And by then, I kind of realized physical therapy, at least at that point in my life, wasn't for me. I didn't want to continue on with what I was doing. And so, again, short version, I'm like, well, I had a roommate that kind of got me on the idea about going into law enforcement. And I had zero interest of being a cop, like a patrol cop. Less than zero. I never even thought about it, even growing up, didn't want to be one. Not that I had a negative outlook on them. I just had no interest. And so my roommate, I'm like, dude, I just spent I don't know how much money on loans for school. I'm like, I spent all this time studying. And to get this degree, I'm like, I'm not going to go to a job that doesn't require a degree. It's what a waste of time and a waste of money the last 4 or 5 years was. That was my view of it at that time. And he's like, hey, what about the feds? And I was like, I'm like, I don't know what you mean. He's like, FBI, DEA, Marshals, Secret Service, that type of thing. And I'm like, how do you? Again, I was so naive back then. But I'm like, well, how do you get in there? And he's like, just apply like a normal job, and it's literally that simple. So Secret Service is in 2004 when I applied. It was right after 3 years after 9/11. So the DHS, Department of Homeland Security, just was formed, and so billions of dollars was being dumped in that, and they were hiring like crazy. And obviously, the president's concerned with his safety, and so. So they were hiring like crazy. It was right place, right time. I probably should never have gotten hired with just a college degree. Anyway, I applied and got hired by the Secret Service, and I was required to go out to Maryland and Georgia for my training. And then I was in DC for my 2 years there, so I lived in Virginia.
Secret Service, man, watch out!
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Buried that one underneath.
Yeah.
Okay, but then Secret Service, so 2 years,
Mhm.
And I'm just gonna guess because DC is a beautiful place to visit. I could never freaking live there. I avoided it like the plague for 20 years during my service. I'm like, hell no. I'm like, you don't slit your wrist this way, you slit it this way because it's gonna be there.
Right.
So I'm gonna just guess that you didn't like the DC. So how'd you go from DC then to Jefferson County?
So when I was in, so I kind of realized too, it's like, and sometimes you just don't know until you try some, right? And I realized the federal route wasn't for me. It wasn't kind of how I was wired. It's cool. It looks cool on the movies. You got the three, four, letter acronyms for, FBI, all this stuff. And it looks cool. And I'm not saying they don't do cool stuff. But like for me, I was 23 when I got hired. Man, like I said, I got some dragons to slay, and the Secret Service, awesome, great organization. I'm not saying anything bad about it at all. Just for me personally, it wasn't really what I was looking for. You worked a lot with street cops there, and the Metropolitan Police and the DC and all that. And I was like, man, that's kind of what I want to do. I want to be. This one sounds super corny, and I apologize, but like a young kid, the way you think was like, I want to run a gun like these guys do. And you're just getting after it, street crime, all that type of stuff. And so I realized pretty quickly that the federal government wasn't going to be for me. We were, my wife at the time, we were thinking about having kids and all that. And we were out there by ourselves. She was from Southern California. Long story short, she had family here. We didn't want to go back to Southern California. So we chose Colorado at the time. I was just trying to get out here, get my foot in the door. And I wound up hiring with the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office in 2007. And then, then 2014, I left, and then I transferred or lateral to Denver Police Department.
And you were there until you retired, about what, 18 months ago, or
14, 10 months ago, maybe.
Yeah, pardon me. Oh wow, even less.
Yeah.
So sorry, Donald, for taking us on a little like side trip there, but I mean, we did find out he's a no kidding Fed, so watch out.
All right.
I thought that was awesome. This just seamlessly puts us right into our next deal that I wanted to talk to you about, which was how jujitsu and law enforcement has gone hand in hand with you. And you know what your opinion is on training jujitsu for being a police officer, and why you think other police officers don't train. Not a lot of them, anyway.
Yeah, no, those are some great talking points. So these are things that I've, and if I get long-winded, you guys just cut me off because you guys are hitting me with my soapboxes here. Jiu-jitsu, Jesus, law enforcement, those three things. I'm just like I'll be talking all day.
Let's go.
So,
Perfect. That's what we want, Jesse. Go on.
all right, cool. I'll tell stories. So, you brought up a few different good points. So I'll try to break it down in the best way I could possibly can. So, jiu-jitsu and law enforcement, I'll make it a broad term. Like, it's important. So here's the biggest reason. When people say, hey, why should cops train jiu-jitsu? And most people think about the skill set you acquire while training jiu-jitsu that you would need on the job. That's going to make you safe, the public safe, whatever, however you want to look at it. 100% fact. True. Like I'm not discrediting that at all. And I'll get back to that point here in a second too, to expand on it. But the applicability of jiu-jitsu and law enforcement. So the best way I can say, like the best thing that jiu-jitsu can give police officers is that you're allowed to, that it gives you the ability to interpret a situation more accurately when it becomes to resistance. So Donald, how many people you rolled with? Thousands of people, I'm assuming by now, right? And probably, right? Give or take, and a few hundred. But I mean, like I could honestly say I've rolled with thousands of people, thousands of rounds. And over that time, you can immediately, when you grab somebody, you almost get a sixth sense of that person. And I'm not talking like some spooky mystical thing. You can tell exactly the second you grab them or they grab you, you can tell, does this person know what they're doing? And if so, how much, right? You can tell within seconds when you're about to roll with someone on someone's capabilities or lack thereof. And you can tell with the intent you're about to roll with. You say, hey, bro, let's roll light. And the second you grab some, you can tell that's not the case, right? You can tell like, okay, I got to buckle up, right? So, and that's a part that's overlooked when it comes to law enforcement and jiu-jitsu, like the benefits it gives you. So like say, like, yeah, I can read somebody really, really fast, or how someone's about to go down just by simply touching them. And you give a couple seconds of movement, right? Law enforcement, when you're a cop and you have a lot of people that go into law enforcement that have never ever been in any type of fight, any type of physical confrontation, and that's fine. Like a lot of times, like the old heads, I guess I'm starting to get old head now. We used to make fun of these people, like, oh man, you've been in a fight before. It's like, what? And it's like, you looking back, it's like, that's actually not a bad thing. Like when we're looking at people who we're hiring and everything else, can you solve problems without fighting, right? And so, yes, but even though, yes, these are people who were able to talk themselves out of situations, or maybe they were smart in the situations they put themselves in or didn't put themselves in, or they were able to walk away. These are all great attributes. So I'm not bagging on people who's never been in a fight before, but you lack certain knowledge about that way of life. And when you're encountering these people on the streets, I'm talking like gangbangers and things like that nature, just people who just want to fight. Those guys fight and they know how to fight, and maybe not like from a traditional standpoint of like a boxing ring or whatnot or cage, but they know what it feels like to get punched, and they know what it feels like to keep going after getting punched. They know what it's like to throw a punch. There's a mental block that a lot of people have. Like, I don't know if you guys remember the first time you ever had to punch somebody, but for me, I had to get over a mental barrier of, can I punch this person? And some people can't. And the only way you can get over that mental barrier is by doing it. And so even though jiu-jitsu is not what I'm talking about punching, but what my point is like, we're getting people who are inexperienced of understanding physical confrontation, and they're trying to put into custody someone who's experienced with it. And we've all been with someone who we've all rolled with someone who doesn't know jiu-jitsu, right? It's like taking candy from a baby. Like it's literally boring. It's like, I don't even want to roll with somebody new. If I'm working for myself and I'm being selfish in my training, I don't even want to roll with somebody new, because it's what's the point, right? So let me back up a little bit. So when we talk about these people who've never been in a fight before and they go to grab someone, they cannot accurately, not more often than not. I'm not saying every time, but I'd say more often than not, they cannot accurately interpret what kind of resistance they're receiving. And so when you look at poor arrests, like bad arrests, poor uses of force, bad shootings, or questionable shootings, you have to go back to the beginning, like of the interaction. Right? And there's usually an overreaction to the resistance they're receiving or an underreaction to the resistance they're receiving. Meaning underreaction, meaning they're not applying enough force necessary to handle the situation right then. And what happens? It spirals out of control to where the officer feels like they have to. Whether it's justified or not, a lot of times it turns unjustified because of how it spiraled out. But if you look at the beginning, it should never have gotten that far, right? Or you see an overreaction to these physical confrontations, meaning they've never felt someone resist anything before, and then the cop who hasn't had that right training starts spiraling out mentally, and they get scared for their life. And you guys probably heard that phrase before, and they take out their gun or whatever the case may be. Well, it may not always be shooting. It might be punching when you're not supposed to be punching someone, right? But there's standards that us as law enforcement have to follow. And so if you don't train jiu-jitsu, right, or some type of combat sport where you're physically grabbing someone over and over and over and over and over again, and they're doing the exact same thing to you, like it gives us the ability, the guys who train jiu-jitsu, the ability to accurately interpret these forces so we can apply the least amount of force necessary to control the situation. So on that note, jiu-jitsu gives you the skill set. I always tell people, like, what's the point of jiu-jitsu? And I always say this to my students. I'm like, what is the overall arching purpose of jiu-jitsu? Like, what is our goal? And I always try to tell my students, like, what is the goal from this position? What is the goal? What is the goal of jiu-jitsu? It's to control someone who doesn't want to be controlled. That's it. Submission is just an example of control, right? But pinning someone, whatever the case may be, jiu-jitsu is all the fundamental thought about jiu-jitsu is how can I control someone, right? Whether I'm on my back, whether I'm on top, it doesn't matter. How can I control someone? And so when you look at law enforcement, that's all it is. How can I control someone to take them into custody, get them in handcuffs? Handcuffs is just an example of control. And so that's the biggest gift that jiu-jitsu gives people, is the ability to interpret resistance levels appropriately and accurately. And then on top of that, once you're able to kind of gauge what's happening, and it's a matter of seconds, it's milliseconds that you're interpreting all this information. Now you have a skill set to deal with it. And so that's the biggest thing why I think police officers should train, is it gives you context, and you're not operating in fear. I'm not saying you don't have fear as a cop. I've experienced fear numerous times. I was definitely scared multiple times in my career, but that's not how your brain, you don't go to animal brain where you're just reacting to, and you don't know what you're doing. Like you're not operating out of fear. You're making decisions out of a trained mind, because your body's trained, and so on and so forth. So you asked you a few questions there. So that's kind of my idea about like why police officers train, the importance of jiu-jitsu. Now, if I got long-winded, guys, I apologize. You guys,
Jesse, I was gonna say, like, kind of that last part you're talking about, that not giving way to the animal brain, and especially for those people that haven't been in fights. I think that one thing I've always been told about jiu-jitsu, and I've felt it as well, that it teaches you how to be comfortable being uncomfortable. And that kind of like stops that spiraling out of control. So again, I think that especially for those guys that have not been in fights, I think that's a huge thing. Sorry for cutting you off, but you're giving gold, man.
Yeah, awesome. All right, cool. Yeah. No. So you're absolutely right. You nailed it on the head. Comfortable being uncomfortable. And so like a lot of these people, so talk about comfortable being uncomfortable. So this is uncomfortable. And so especially like just grabbing it, this is rhetorical, you don't have to answer, but like how many times have you grabbed someone on the street that you didn't know, you put hands on them, you grab them, and you try to make them do what you want them to do, right? That's a police officer all the time. It's like, regardless if you're wearing a badge and you're trained and you go to the academy and whatever, but when you first go to grab someone, it's not a societal norm. That's a big no-no in society. So you're raised to keep your hands to yourself and all that type of stuff, which is fine. I agree with that rule, but as a police officer, you're told to break that rule. And if you've never broken that rule, even in training, like when you train, I'm going to keep saying training. When you train, you're used to grabbing people. and you don't have, there's not that mental barrier, that societal norm that you're trying to break. You're used to rolling around with another guy and choking each other and everything else. So, but even more, kind of to piggyback on what you said about comfortable being uncomfortable, not even from the physical standpoint. So, you know what's uncomfortable is going into someone's house, telling the man of the house to sit down and listen to what I tell him to do. That's a weird position to be in. Like, can you imagine somebody coming to your house again telling you what to do after 20 years in the Marine Corps, or 20 plus years in the Marine Corps? Absolutely not. Right. Yeah. And so us as a police officer, we have to come in and sometimes do that. Well, it's not comfortable for us. And after a while, it becomes a little bit more comfortable. And because you do, the more you do anything, the more comfortable you get doing it. But when you go in those situations, and especially people who've dealt with the police a lot, they can immediately tell who's brand new and who's not. I'm sure just like in the military, you can tell someone who's brand new and someone who's who's been around for a while. And so these guys that we interact with are no different. They learn through their experiences just like we do. And so they can tell who is scared and who is not the second you walk in the door. And they're going to start testing you. Not every time, but a lot of times they're going to start testing you. They want to see how much they can get away with. You tell them to sit down, they don't sit down. You tell them to go sit on this chair, they go sit on the other chair, right? You tell them, hey, don't talk to your wife right now. I need to talk to you. He starts talking to, those type of things, right? He's testing. So, because they know, they can tell the second you walk in the door, this is an officer they can test or not. So jiu-jitsu gives you, and so a lot of people, why are people scared all these times other than the societal norms I'm talking about? Because they haven't been put in those situations before. They haven't been in a fight before. They know if they had to put hands on this guy, could I win, basically? And these people don't know because they've never been in that situation before. And so they don't have the confidence that is needed in police work. And jiu-jitsu gives that confidence because in the background you have the ace card. I mean, like, anything can happen. We're not bulletproof. Jiu-jitsu doesn't make you bulletproof, doesn't make you dodge freaking bullets or anything like that. But when it comes to hand-to-hand combat, I got the ace up my sleeve because I got jiu-jitsu and I know you probably don't. And even if you do, I bet you mine's better than yours, right? That's a mentality you have. I'm not saying that's true. But the most of the world, not just police officers, but the world itself does not train. And so when you have that ace up your sleeve of training, it's the job when it comes to the physical aspect, the hands-on situation and portraying confidence. It's actually pretty easy. And so again, these are some of the benefits of police work or the benefits of jiu-jitsu and police work. Now, I will say this. So police work jiu-jitsu doesn't solve all your problems that you encounter in police work. There are certain situations, hands-on situations we're fighting, because obviously we have a tool belt on. So that means we always have a gun in the fight. They may or may not be armed. We have different rules we have to play by that we might play in the gym, but we can't play in the streets. Like choking, for example, is carotid restraints, we call them. In law enforcement in Colorado is completely prohibited. It's against the law. We'd go to jail, no matter what the circumstances are. Even if a guy was trying to shoot me, I couldn't put him in a choke, right? Neither here nor there. I'm sure you guys know what my feeling is on that. But regardless, we have to play by different rules and all that. So there are different things that we will encounter in law enforcement that we won't always encounter. We will never encounter in jiu-jitsu. And so there's this belief that jiu-jitsu will solve all your problems in law enforcement. It will not, in regards to physical confrontation, just because it's just different. It's just, there's so many variables that you count. You're fighting over furniture and inside cars and alleys and parks and the ground's slippery and all that type of stuff. So there's a lot of variables that don't come into play. So I do feel it's important to have a curriculum that's is a little bit outside jiu-jitsu. Like, my point is, if you're going to train for a police officer, train jiu-jitsu. If that's all you can do, beautiful. You're way, way, way ahead of curve. But I also would argue have a law enforcement dynamic to that training, which I have a soapbox for that as well, which I'll get to you guys want. But that's I just want to clarify that, like, jiu-jitsu won't solve all your problems on the street, but it will solve most of them. And when it comes to my opinion on officers who don't train, and I'm trying to remember everything you asked, Don. But
you're covering it all. I think this is the last part of the one I'd asked you.
And he can always ask follow-ups. It's all good.
All right, cool. So when it comes to officers who don't train, like, don't get me wrong. Like, I have met some absolute incredible police officers, guys who are confident, guys who work well under stress, guys who perform under stress, guys who make great decisions under stress, guys who can handle themselves physically and handle others physically, who's never stepped a foot in the mats before, right? So I do want to throw that out there. However, think about how much better they could have been if they did jiu-jitsu, right? But those are usually the options we're not thinking about. We're thinking about the lowest common denominator type officers, right? And so, if you don't do jiu-jitsu, I think you're doing yourself a disservice. I really do. And I think you're doing a disservice to the public as well, that we're sworn to protect and serve. And then not just from the reasons I talked about, like suicide rate, substance abuse, rates in law enforcement, first responders, military, sky high. People would be shocked if they knew how many police officers were committing suicide. Like, they would be, if they went into the profession, like, hey, you're a Denver police officer, they'd be shocked with how frequently they hear that happening with just Denver police officers. And so, like, and that's a whole other topic that we can get into. But when I talk about, like, just mental health, right? Just doing, like, it is really, really, really hard to unwind as a police officer, because when you're off the clock, when you're driving home, you still have your cop brain on. He was like, "Yeah, that's not healthy. You should shut it off." I'm like, that's easier said than done. You're 10 hours on shift, and you go out with your family. You're still thinking like a cop. You're looking at people's hands. You're looking at people walking in. You're just constantly measuring people. Even when I'm driving, I remember when I was coming home, like, I'm embarrassed to admit this, but like, felt like such a dork, I guess. But like, I was driving home in my personal vehicle. I see a car in front of me. I saw something on it that I knew was illegal. And I reached over to my center console to type in the license plate. And this isn't my personal car. I don't have a computer in my car.
Yeah.
And like, that's how much my brain was just still on, it was still on cop mode. I'm ready to run people while I'm running cars, while I'm driving home from work. And it's like so hard to shut it off. And so that's why cops look at alcohol and so on and so forth, and depression and PTSD hits in. And I'm not saying jiu-jitsu is the end all be all. There's much bigger things out there than jiu-jitsu that can help this situation. But jiu-jitsu, when it comes to you doing yourself a disservice, if you're going home to drink to help you sleep, or drink to help you cope with it's a depressant, right? And just, you're feeling depressed, it's going to make you more depressed. So jiu-jitsu is the opposite. Jiu-jitsu just allows you to go somewhere and just unwind, get the endorphins going, get just meet great people, get a sweat going. And when you're on the mats, it's cliche, but it's true. You don't think about anything else. Nothing. When you're rolling, you don't think about anything except at that very moment and that very time about what they're trying to do and what you're trying to do, and nothing else in the world matters. Nothing. And so I think that's so important for police officers to like understand, like, these outlets, and jiu-jitsu being such, like, jiu-jitsu absolutely changes lives. And that's one of the biggest disservices I see, outside of, again, the ability to take care of themselves while they're on the street and all that type of stuff, is the mental part. That's so, and physical, which are directly linked. Your physical health and your mental health are directly, they're correlated. And so jiu-jitsu helps both of that. So anyway, that's my soapbox for that. If you had any other questions I might have missed, let me know. But that's my answer regarding officers and training.
No, 100%, man. I mean, like, the oxytocin you receive just from that touch with people, that's in a combative but still cooperative environment, the community that you have there, where you can just be Jesse. I can just be Egghead and not Lieutenant Colonel Seagraves, and I'm doing cartwheels. I'm giggling as I'm freaking, wrist locking people and stuff like that. And I don't have to be like stuffy. You can be a bit of a goober and a goofball. You don't have to have that presence that you have to have, when you're actually, on the street type of thing. It just allows you to just, man, it's the best thing there is for mental health, period.
Absolutely. And to your point too, when you get your title, when you're on the jiu-jitsu mats, no one cares. It's just like you're all the same. And there's the ranks matter a little bit, and there's a little bit of a hierarchy there, but doesn't matter if you're a cop or a felon. It doesn't matter if you're a doctor and like janitor. It doesn't matter. It's just like you're all equal there, and those titles don't matter. You can let your guard down, and you just have fun. Just enjoy it.
I can relate to that so hard. I absolutely love that about jujitsu. I'm a ex-con, right? So I had a lot of run-ins with police officers as well, and I was never one of those that was very hateful of them. I just always kind of looked at it like it's your job to catch me, it's my job to be faster than you.
There, yeah.
And but what I really loved is when I got out of a 4-year rehabilitation program. I've been clean for 10 years, and I felt very lost and alone in the world, kind of very similar, like to where it's like I didn't have a cop brain or anything like that, but it was like my brain had been wired so awfully towards all that other stuff that I just felt lost in society. And when I found jujitsu, it like gave me an incredible community. It didn't matter about my past. It didn't matter about who I was rolling with. And I mean, I've become friends with several cops, which is just so funny, from somebody from my background, scientists, doctors, lieutenant colonels in the Marine Corps. And I think that's probably, even on another note, to touch on what you're talking about, I think it kind of connects you to your community maybe a little better as a cop. Whereas if you just leave and you just go home and you have all these bad thoughts of maybe all the horrible things you've seen working downtown Denver or something, I could only imagine. But then you go and see the humanity of people, that punk teenager, like you get to know him in the gym and you're like, oh man, this kid's got a broken home, but he's coming to this gym, he's getting his stuff together. Maybe I don't know if I'm onto something there, but maybe it humanizes them a little bit.
Absolutely. Well, it humanizes both people, right? And so for the police officer, it humanizes the community that they're serving. Absolutely. Like police officers, we encounter, I'd say, I'm in every aspect of life, just about 80-20, the 80-20 rule, right? And I'd say about 80% of the community will never encounter. For any reason. We typically deal with the 20%, and so sometimes we forget that there's another 80% out there that aren't like the ones that we might have to consistently interact with. And so that's refreshing in itself. And even if it is that happens to be that 20%, it just like like you said, it humanizes people, because cops only see people on the worst day. We don't go to little kids' birthday parties and when everyone's having fun and everyone's laughing and joking and it's just good, hard fun, and we're invited in. And like that's not what cops see. Cops see people on their worst day, the worst day of their lives. And so we get jaded on how these people are. Like you kind of what you said, like it kind of dehumanizes them a little bit. Like, we look at society with a lens that's not fully accurate. We're just getting a small piece of the picture. And the flip side's returned too. Police officers get viewed at in a specific way. A lot of, like, whether it's conscious or subconscious, I think they think like cops are robots and they don't, and whatever they might feel of them, like it humanizes the police officer too to the community, and that we're just normal people. We like having fun. We like laughing. We like sweating. We're cool. We're not all uptight, or at least we try not to be, and everything else. No, you're absolutely onto something. I like that. It's really good. And on piggyback and just finish on this, cops tend to like to hang around other police officers. That's who after a while, that's just who they trust. And I said that in the video that you mentioned, Egghead. It was just like I was talking about, dude, just come in and have fun. And you're going to meet people that aren't police officers. You're not going to sit around sharing hot stories and all that type of stuff. So yeah, absolutely. Donald, you absolutely nailed it. So I appreciate that. Yeah.
Awesome, man. Egg, did you see CJ's message about the private chat?
No, I actually hear of it.
Okay, cool. Never mind.
Sorry. The technical difficulties all the damn time. One of our streams went down. I had to reconnect. And I love that. I mean, when I was in Charlottesville for 3 years teaching at the JAG school, I went to Gracie Charlottesville, and I think it was either free or like just ridiculously cheap for law enforcement, and that was great. I mean, I just love rolling with all those guys. It was also good because I'm usually a 6 a.m. guy, kind of with the dads. Or law enforcement if you're coming off the right shift, and again, they're just other dudes, and it was always great. So definitely love that. Donald?
Nice. Did you have any other specific questions about law enforcement? Anything that you may have thought that we missed, Jesse, as well, that you'd like to talk about while you have this soapbox here about any of those topics involving law enforcement, jiu-jitsu, martial arts, anything like that?
Yeah, I tell people too. I taught at the academy for the last couple of years of my career.
Nice.
I was a lead and arrest control instructor out there, and for Denver. And I'd always tell people, I'm like, hey, once you guys get out of the academy, like a lot of you guys will just completely stop training. It doesn't matter. I'm working out, anything to do with law enforcement, whether it's shooting, driving, understanding the law, case law, arrest control, whatever. It's like you're eventually gonna stop. And I encourage people not to. And I always say, like, hey, I always get asked, hey, Taps, when I leave, what should I do? What should I train? And I had my jiu-jitsu. Clearly, I'm partial to that. And I tell that too. I'm like, I'm obviously partial to jiu-jitsu, and I have my reasons why. And I talk about the control and optics and all this other type of stuff that are important. But I like, at the end of the day, not everyone likes jiu-jitsu, which is hard for me to believe, but not everyone likes it. And I just said, like, to that point, find something that you like. I'm like, just something. I don't even care if it's Taibo. It's just like, is there a better use of time and money? Of course. But I'm like, dude, as long as you're doing something to keep you healthy, that gives you some type of plan, some type of edge on the people that we're going to be interacting and encountering on the street, something that will give you an edge. I don't care if it's boxing, Muay Thai, judo, something. Just do something. Jiu-jitsu, again, my preference, but again, so that's just my encouragement to police officers. There's a lot of reasons why police officers don't train. And I can't hit them all, and I can't encourage everyone to walk in. I just want to tell police officers, like, man, you go to jiu-jitsu, it's like they're actually intimidated. A lot of police officers are intimidated coming in. I was intimidated when I first came in, and they don't realize it's like the nicest community. For most gyms, it's the nicest, most welcoming community you can imagine. And so I just want to encourage police officers, but just come on in. Just come on in. You'll like it. I have a few more soapboxes regarding that. I'll let it go. But that's my biggest thing. Just find something, even if it's not jiu-jitsu. Do something that's good for you, something that's healthy, something that involves community, and so on.
Yeah, if I could, just a couple things. One, I know you've gone and trained under Gracie Combatives. I know they have some special stuff. They work with law enforcement. Really love that. Brian Beaumont, former head of 10th Planet Yuma, has been focusing on building the 10th Planet Tactical Program with law enforcement as well. And even just like other gym owners. I know Stephen Aiken, who's our announcer at the PGF. He's worked with law enforcement. I just love any time that people get to do that cross training, and like you said, add a little bit of that law enforcement flavor to the jiu-jitsu scenario. One other thing I just wanted to say was that I did not know, and as a barred attorney in Colorado, I should know this, but I didn't know that all of your any blood chokes were outlawed, and it galls me because it's very similar to some of our firearms laws. It's the most ignorant people about the techniques and the firearms that are making the laws. I have no idea what they're talking about, and it just galls me because we as practitioners know that that's one of the safest things to do. You get a guy that's massively bigger than you, and you cut off that blood flow, and they're out and they're good. As opposed to having 3-4 guys having to take somebody out, and then now you're escalating maybe to that taser, maybe to worse.
No.
Anyways, I don't want to get you in a bind. I'm still kind of aloof, so I can say these things.
Yeah, you're good. No, you're good. And I won't add a whole lot more to it. Yeah, it is. We see that a lot. There's a lot of need when it comes to decision making. A lot of it has to be knee-jerk reactions to a specific incident that occurred, and they make that specific incident, whatever it might be, they make that specific incident the norm rather than the anomaly or rather than the exception. And they see that one just outlier event, and they make a knee-jerk reaction to prevent that from ever occurring again. And it usually, more often than not, definitely kind of, no pun intended, but handcuffs the police officers for sure.
That availability bias is it's a damn it's bad. So sorry, Donald. Sorry again. I keep trying to take you off track, but get us back there.
You're not taking me off track at all. I'm keeping little bullet points all set up. I got the iPad open. We are good to go. I was a little curious though, and maybe this would be a little controversial, but I mean, do you follow Tom DeBlas?
Yes.
Yeah, so you see that, and you see the, you know, and he has nothing but praise to say for police officers that train and stuff like that. But I mean, you can see video after video of like obviously I guess we could say unathletic,
Yeah.
you know, overweight police officers who have no idea what they're doing in a situation. And I've seen a lot of the excuses in the comment section. Oh, we can't afford training. Oh, you know, what about long hours, things of that nature. And not being a police officer, of course, I can't speak on that. Do you believe that training of some kind, maybe like ECC combatives, that's another page I follow, stuff like that, you know, where they incorporate jujitsu and within the realm of what you actually have to do. Do you think that that should be a requirement?
Yes. So I get this question a lot. So it's a great question, and it's a great topic. And so how do I want to break this down? So in regards to a requirement, like, so there's a governing body over every police department in the state. It's called Post. And Post dictates that we have to have X amount of training every year regarding these specific skills, whether it's driving, shooting, arrest control. Now, I used to have the numbers memorized. I don't remember on the top of my head anymore. But the amount of training we get in jiu-jitsu, even on an off week, we would get more training just on our personal time. I'm talking about us three here. We would probably get more training that's required from the state for us to do. So you get a lot of checkbox type training with police departments. And don't get me wrong, police departments are in a hard position. And so this is my argument for that. My reasoning. So yes, should it be mandatory? Yes, but the training regarding what type of training needs to be done, it's like arrest control. Arrest control look like a lot. It could just simply be pressing handcuff for 20 minutes, right? It could be doing pat downs or searches, or it could be, it looks like a lot of different things. And so a lot of, so police departments, they are almost every police department in the nation, I'll be willing to bet, at least I'll say here in the metro area, are understaffed, and they're
Probably underfunded.
Funded. Thank you. I couldn't think of the word. They're underfunded. So to train, so let's say the Denver Police Department, 1,600 officers, to train that department to the extent that we feel like, and I'm guessing you're kind of alluding to, I'm making assumptions here, but to be competent to to a standard that we feel would be necessary as a police officer, right? We meaning us three, us being all three of us who've done jiu-jitsu for a while. That would take a lot of time and a lot of money, which neither things, and a lot of manpower, which neither thing, three things that the police department does not have. They don't have time, they don't have money, and they don't have manpower. And so I'm gonna answer your question here in a little bit, or in a second here. So to rely on the department to do more than what the state already requires would take, again, time, manpower, money. It's not that the department doesn't want to give it. I truly believe that. Now, there's some departments or some administrations, sure, you can maybe argue that they don't really care about that. They just looking at numbers on a stat sheet and seeing if arrests are going up or crimes going down or whatever, right? And the correlations and everything else. But for the department to get all those officers up to par, right? Up to what we think par would be is almost impossible from a money standpoint and a manpower standpoint. So to get these guys training, we would have to take them off the street on a weekly basis, in essence, maybe or a monthly basis, right? And get them training. So that's less officers on the street, which makes it unsafe for the officers who are on the street. And then we have to either pay them salary, or we have to bring them on their off time, which gives them time and a half, right? So now we're starting to talk about money issues, and what it really comes down to, they just want cops on the street. I think so does the community. And when it comes down to it, if you had to pick, do you just want officers on the street, or do you want better trained officers? I honestly don't know. I would pick better trained officers, but depending where you're living at, it's I don't live in a dangerous area, so I'm yeah, I'd give them better trained. But if I'm in an area where I need a cop all the time, it's I want more officers on the street. So it kind of depends where you live. So here's my answer to that. Should it be mandatory? Yes. Is it mandatory? Kind of. But there's workarounds. We're cool, you get your video. I'm not kidding. We have video training on arrest control. You get video training. I sit here in front of a computer like I am now and watch a 30-minute video on handcuffing. And I'm cool, check, done, training. That's your hour. that's a thing. Why? Because it doesn't cost a lot of money. It doesn't cost any manpower. And so I put the weight always back on the police officer themselves. I'm like, you get paid a salary for a reason. And I'm like, yes, it's to live. Yes, it's to provide for a family. It's to eat. It's to all that. I understand that. But I'm like, and I know some states pay less than others, and I get all that. But at the same time, what is your life worth? When we're putting a dollar amount, when it comes to the police officer themselves, what is your mental health worth? And I tell police all the time, do not rely on the department to give you the training you need to be a good, competent, reliable officer. Take that upon yourself. I'm like, that should be something that you should take pride in yourself, and you're willing to spend your own money. You're willing to spend your own time on your off time to go out and seek this training. And I'll admit it, like the police officer in Colorado, at least in the Denver metro area, get paid very well. And to say I don't have enough money, then you need to check to do things that will save my life or save others' life. Well, then you need to start budgeting better. To be very blunt, I get that topic kind of triggers me a little bit, because not in the way you said it, but the police officer's excuses trigger me. And I'm like, man, I have paid, and just because I did it doesn't mean other people have to do it, but I have paid tens of thousands of dollars on my own training. If you just do a gym membership for 19 years, 16 years before I opened my gym, if you just did it just for easy math, $100 a month, which was more than that, but let's just say it was $100 a month, and I did that for 16 years, 12 months to years. There's $1,200 for 16 years I was paying. That's close to 20 grand just on gym membership alone. And so to be like, I don't have enough money to pay, I don't have enough time. We only have to work 40 hours a week, just like the rest of society. Are we required to work extra sometimes, or sometimes they force us to work over? And yes, right. But we're no different. We still work 40 hours a week. We still get 3 days off a week. We work 4 10s. I mean, at least you can work on your days off. We have officers who make 10, 20, 30 grand in off-duty money, meaning extra money and overtime. You're telling me you can't put aside $120 a month to train jiu-jitsu? And so you triggered me there, Donald. But like I don't blame the departments. I really don't anymore. They're in a really, really tough spot to give officers the right training they need to be competent at for 20 years, right? And we're not just talking about like, oh, you train for a year and you're good. No, you have to train throughout your entire career.
Yeah.
15, 20, 30, whatever years. And so I put the weight squarely on the back of the officer themselves. Spend your own money. If you want to be good, you want to be safe, spend your own money, use your own time.
That's an incredible take. Personal accountability. And again, I would never presume to be like, oh, you guys should just do this as somebody who's not a police officer. Right. But it's like what you just said. And from what I do know, I'd say 90% of gyms offer a discount.
Oh gosh, yeah.
I mean,
I'll be willing to bet 100, but yeah, I think that's a very fair, safe number, 90%. I've never been across a gym that didn't.
Yep. Awesome.
So it's not going to get political. Just saying I can't trust the Gold Dome. But I just did a little Jamie Googling, and police officer departments can receive charitable donations, and so I mean there's plenty of people that support law enforcement. Man, I wonder if there's just some way that there's all kinds of good training to be had, both firearms, jiu-jitsu. Man, if we just I don't know. It'll be great when I get my boots on the deck in Colorado. But maybe start a 501c3 that like talks about finding a way to help the departments have a little bit of help them with that funding for that training piece. Because obviously, time's still gonna be an issue. I mean, that's you're always gonna be fighting to cover your shifts, etc. But maybe if we just like make it fun, and make it a thing for morale and reduce some friction there for them.
Yeah.
Sorry, you just got the wheels turning, and
no, I like that. I do have a feeling it's going to take someone like you who'd be willing to do that research and that fight and everything else. I'm not putting that on your shoulders by any means, but like I do think there's things out there that could absolutely fund exactly what we're talking about. Government grants. We've seen there's a lot of government spending, for things that aren't what they say they are and everything else. It's like, the money's out there, at least regardless how we want to look at that. I'm not getting political, but like, and I think we just don't know where to look for it, or don't know where to find, or don't know where to ask, or don't know the right paperwork, or whatever the case may be, right?
Yeah.
So, no, I think you're absolutely right. I think there's something. I don't know what it is, but yeah.
I'm just saying, I think if we do it charitable and we control it that way, that it cannot be, like you say, kind of head faked, because I see that a lot in the appropriations, because I do watch from afar.
Yeah.
They say one thing and then it goes somewhere else. But anyway, pardon me. This is just for future and Colorado Jiu-Jitsu folks. Let's think on this, because obviously we care about law enforcement. Keeping us safe and keeping that peaceful environment for our kids, because that's huge. I mean, without that, you can't have a society. So, pardon me again, off topic a little bit, but Donald, I think we're going to talk about a little bit of. We were running out of time here on our time hack. We had a little bit of coaching to talk about. We do have a lightning round. So definitely got to make it to that.
Let's do it.
Hey, and you know what? I don't think any time of this conversation, it's fine we didn't get on to a whole bunch of other stuff. Jesse, thank you so much for sharing all that with us. And I hope, that I doubt it's a jiu-jitsu podcast, but maybe that some cop who doesn't train, will see this, and to be shared around, because it was just such a fascinating way that you put it that, I hadn't, I just learned a lot, and thank you very much. For sharing all that with us. That was really, really cool. And who says that the Colorado Wolverines, that, we're trying to find something. We're trying to find something, on a charitable aspect. And I couldn't think of a better thing to champion than, even from a mental health aspect for veterans, to combine egg and then police officers and stuff like that. And to maybe try to do a concerted community effort and some kind of way that we could get some training going on for those two groups of people. I think would be fascinating.
That was a plan already. So like we do support We Defy Foundation. They run a rash guard. A wonderful organization that gives scholarships to, wounded veterans. I told them I'm going to steal their idea, and so eventually, inshallah, when we make it big, I'd like to do a Colorado one, and it was for veterans, for people that are getting clean, like Donald had, and nothing wrong with having some law enforcement in there too. I think just a bunch of people that need that mental health aspect and can change lives. But that's definitely one that's going to be 100% happening. But again, as I get connections in Colorado, once I'm finally back home, definitely be talking about like how we can get charitable donations to help provide training and again, morale.
Yeah.
Because if we make it a thing, obviously we can give scholarships to people, or there's already discounts for doing jiu-jitsu. But if we just talk to the law enforcement, departments, be like, hey man, I know some of the folks going to have to be on shift, but like, if we do it every 3 weeks, every other week, we got a little fun, like we go to the range, a little outdoor range, or, we all do a little spar wars, a little training with jits, and, we get to call out your homie. That could be just a lot of fun.
That's cool.
And good training.
I like that. Yeah, that's a great idea.
Firefighter versus cop tournaments.
Yeah. I've been a part of those. Those are fun.
Egg, do you have the list of rapid fire questions? Because I sent those over to CJ, and I do not have them.
That's when I made fun of you guys for not putting in the right place earlier.
Okay, perfect.
So I guess, let's go rapid fire. CJ, before next week, make a little sound effect for rapid fire, CJ. Yeah, okay. Do it next time. All right, so real quick, rapid fire. Just don't have to think a lot. Don't have to explain. Just do it.
All right.
Gi or no gi?
Both, but if I pick one, gi.
Okay, both is not a credited response. Gi. Okay. Favorite submission?
Kimura.
Nice. Least favorite position to be stuck in?
Spider guard.
Okay, that's annoying.
Yeah.
Most overrated move in jiu-jitsu?
The buggy choke.
Oh.
One technique everyone should master?
Underhooks. How to use underhooks.
Hardest role you've ever had? Ronald excluded.
He was not his hardest role. I'd say my professor, Steve Hordinsky.
That's always a good one. Who's someone you'd love to roll with?
Ooh. This is gonna sound weird. Cale Sanderson, Penn State
Awesome.
wrestler. Yeah, head coach.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, you guys want to. Yeah, sorry.
Calling
I
shot.
know it's not jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu related, I'd say Marcel Garcia.
Nice. Well, there you go. So that you've succeeded surviving the uncomfortable position of rapid fire. Congrats.
We should get a gun sound effect. That'd be a good one, like a brrr. I think.
Or so we would all get this reference, but I used to do when I was a professor, I used to do like little questions after I'd done a little subject. I'd have Dennis Hopper pop quiz hot shot, and so I do have that sound effect. That's a pretty cool one too. CJ, you're gonna get us in trouble. I mean, I think we might owe some amount of money now. All right, so obviously we talked a little bit before we got on here. The Colorado Wolverines, and the reason we have this thing is we are a professional jiu-jitsu team, a franchise of the Professional Grappling Federation. We are gearing up for our second season coming up. It's going to be the season starts in March, but our qualifiers are going to start very soon in July. We'll be announcing the exact date very soon. Might be July 25th, but it might be somewhere around there, or the 25th. But I guess I know you have not been exposed a lot to it. But what do you think about the idea of having an opportunity for Coloradans to kind of take jiu-jitsu to that next level of being a professional grappler?
I think it's great. I was just talking to my brother the other day, and he went out to California. He actually lives here. He works in Los Angeles as a firefighter. Works out here in Colorado, or lives out here in Colorado Springs. But to give you context, so he went out there and he did some training at one of the gyms out there in California. And we were talking. I'm like, Colorado Jiu-Jitsu is really good, like really good. Like, and I'm biased, but I've trained with a lot of people at a lot of different gyms and different places, and people now in a gym. I got people coming from all over that I get to train with, and Colorado Jiu-Jitsu is really, really good. And so to give just local talent that ability to possibly make a living or take that professional route through jiu-jitsu, I think it's awesome. Like when I saw that they came out with the team, it popped up on my Instagram page however many months back. And when I first saw it, and I was like, heck yeah. I was like Colorado's got some good jiu-jitsu, and I think the world needs to know it. The United States needs to know it. And so, people are coming from all over here. And, Michael Era Jr., world champions here now. He's been here for a while, but I know he's from here. But just an example.
So
what's that?
I just said so good.
So good.
So good.
Yeah. And these some and MMA. We have some huge MMA gyms, which always brings in top grapplers. We got the Olympic Training Center down in like the world-class wrestlers and judokas and all that type of stuff. I'm like, we're a hotbed for grappling, and people don't realize it. So having a team like this, I think, is an awesome way to showcase that.
Well, you threw out one name drop, and I'm about to ask for a bunch more.
Okay.
So this upcoming season, normally it was just one weight class for the whole season, and we see who's the best at one weight class. But this season, each team is going to come with 5 weight classes.
Ooh, okay.
So it's going to be like an old school, like wrestling, not old school, they still have them, but like a wrestling meet each time, like a duel. So we're going to have a 145er, 155er, 170, 185, and 205.
Okay.
And while you're thinking, I'll give you a little bit more explanation here. The PGF's kind of neat. Some people grumble about it, but I think it's good. So for the PGF, you have to weigh in, and you get a 2-pound weight allowance the day before the first week, and you weigh in, like say you're going to be 145er, you can weigh in at 147, but then each subsequent week, the day of, you can get up to 154. So you can weigh in, you get a little grace, so you can go to that next weight class. So the bigger one would be like 155er. Can be up to 169, which is a pretty good amount of difference after that first weigh-in. So Now, with that in mind, which Coloradans you think should be on the Wolverines team in those slots? Oh, just like Pee Wee's Playhouse.
That's a good question. So some guys came to mind. I don't know them personally. I'm just going to throw that out there. I don't have any connection with these guys. They probably don't even know who I am. But just what I've seen on just when I'm following Colorado Jiu-Jitsu and the tournaments and everything else. And I'm not really good with everyone's weight, but I'll do the best I can. Anakin from Subhounds. I've been watching that guy for the last couple of years. I only got Instagram once I started my gym, Necessary Evil, I guess. Otherwise, I stay away from social media. But he popped up on my page early on, and I've been just following him ever since. The way he's able to blend his wrestling and his jiu-jitsu is really impressive. His leg lock game is legit. He's all around good grappler. I know he competes all the time, which is extremely important. So I'd say him. I don't know how much he weighs. He looks like he's a lighter guy, so I'll put him at the lightest weight class. Who else? I didn't know this guy until other than the PGFT, the Jared. What's his name? He seems like your guys' best player. Your best.
Oh, Jaden.
Groner.
Oh, MVP, 100%.
I'm watching him. So I'm like, you got to put him. I don't remember what weight class he is, but you got to put him on.
He'll be 170 or 185.
Okay, perfect. Well, I'll put him one.
And I'm not saying that he might be. He will be.
Okay.
Yeah. It's so good.
I guarantee it.
Avery Blade from High Altitude. I rolled with him one time at. I could probably put him as my hardest because I literally he just stood there. I couldn't do anything.
It's so ridiculous rolling with that.
Yes. Yeah. He is top pressure. I'd say him 185 I'm assuming he can get that. He's built like a.
Yeah, everyone says 185. I'm like, that guy's a wall of muscle. Really?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But I guess muscle can deflate a little bit, like with the water weight. I guess I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, but if he can make it, cool. I'd put him at 205. Then Caleb Crump. I know he's already on your guys' team. I rolled with him, and he probably doesn't remember. I rolled with him when I was a brown belt. I was at Catharo. He used to come by there and train every once in a while at the open mats. Yeah, that was ridiculous. His back game was really, really good. I'd pick him. Maybe I'll do him at 185, Avery at 205, and then I have one more left, right? Well, I saw that Officer Grimy is. I've never met him. I saw he's your head coach now, huh?
Yeah.
So I won't pick him. Then I would pick. I'd say Michael Liera Jr. at Dream Team. If I know he has nothing to prove anymore, but that'd be amazing to have a guy like that on the team.
Be a hell of a team. That's a good names. That's good picks. Yeah.
Any like little Mighty Mouse, any the Lollipop Guild guys for like 145.
145.
And yes, I'm sorry, 145ers. I called you Lollipop Guild.
Yeah. I didn't say it because they're gonna heel hook me or something. But gosh, I can't think of anybody that light on top of my head. I have to get someone to cut some weight or something.
There you go.
I don't know. I can't think of anyone on top of my head that weight. What's Anakin? Donnie, you're friends with him, right?
He's my coach.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He would probably be able to cut down to like 170.
Gotcha.
But he's actually a little bigger than you think. He walks around like 185.
Yeah, I've never met him in person. So, okay. Yeah. So I'm way off.
No.
So, yeah, I don't know.
No, it's all good. So I guess
great picks.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks. I'm bad with weights.
You're all good. So Donald, any more questions? I know we gotta do kind of the close-up questions, but anything else that we haven't asked, or Jesse, maybe anything that you think we should have asked? What did we miss?
No, you guys covered it well. Like I said, I got soapboxes for days, so I know you guys got to cut it. So, you guys are very thorough. I appreciate it.
Donald?
Absolutely fascinating. Thank you so much, Jesse. I think my favorite thing about doing these gym owner series is getting to know you guys here in Denver. You know, and to hear these stories, and it's just so fascinating, man. And just hats off to you. You know, to somebody like what you said to yourself or me or Egg, like jujitsu's awesome. We can't imagine anybody doesn't love it.
Yeah.
But to do that on top of a job that's already hard, and to realize that this is something that could be so good for your mental health and to make you safer for yourself to get home to your family and safer for the community. I just always find that so commendable in any police officers. And I just think that's fascinating. And thank you so much for sharing your story with us.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
Yeah, I love the series too, because like I said, I think we're finding out that which imagine this: all the gym owners are all pretty amazing people. I mean, just good people to meet, to talk to. Look forward to training some with you. I'm going to be probably doing a lot of cross training all over the dang place. I figured out you're probably about 17 minutes for at least one of the houses we're looking at.
Nice.
So we'll definitely look to drop in some. I mean, in the end, I think maybe talking to the law enforcement guys out there, or anyone out there. I mean, what's the best gym to go to? The one you'll go to, perhaps if it's closest to your house or on your way to work or whatever, and just find that community. And you can always hop around to open mats and train and see other people.
Yeah.
So definitely like that. But I guess is there anything, where can people, find TAPS BJJ, Instagram, online, anything you need to shout out? Let's get it out there for the folks.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're TAPS Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. The website's tapsbjj.com. Our handle on Instagram is taps.bjj. We are located, it's like 3 cities. We're like right on like the middle of all 3 cities, or not like right on the edge. I mean, so Highlands Ranch, Littleton, Centennial, they all kind of converge. We're right there. We're super convenient, right off C470 and Broadway. So yeah, we're right there. Regarding anything I want people to know, we do offer law enforcement only classes. It's EFC. Donald, you mentioned them. We are EFC certified academy, the fastest growing combatives in the world right now. It's the most realistic training from that I've encountered yet. That's why I'm a part of it. I'm one of their instructors as well, one of their cadres. So we offer that. So first responders out there, if you're interested, we got stuff for you. Really, really good stuff. And on top of that, we have JESSE and Jiu-Jitsu. We do that. I should probably mention that first, because that's even more important. But JESSE and Jiu-Jitsu is a group that we meet up at my place, at TAPS BJJ, once a month, the first Saturday of every month at 8:30 a.m. It's free and open to everyone. You don't have to be a believer in Christ. You don't have to do jiu-jitsu. If you want to come in, just check it out, see what either one's about. Very welcome. It's growing. I've been doing it for about 1.5 years now, and it's definitely growing. We're getting pretty good numbers coming in, and it's just really cool to see. So what that is, just very quick, it's very simple. Bible study, and then we roll afterwards. That's it. So so just throwing it out there to the internet. You guys are all welcome. Would love to see all you guys in.
Awesome.
All right, phenomenal. Greatly appreciate it. We're gonna ask you to hop into the green room, if you will, backstage. We got somebody that's got some questions for you. One of our big supporters, JB, is probably. We're gonna hang out. We'll talk a little bit. We won't take too much of your time, but truly appreciate your time here. Thank you for the service with the law enforcement, and just being a great leader and coach. And man, I'm great to have met you, sir.
Great to meet you guys as well. I really appreciate it. This has been an honor.
All right, well, we'll see you in just a minute.
That sounds good.
All right, Donald. Congratulations, lead interviewer.
Thank you. I unexpected, but I had a lot of fun doing that with you, Egg. It was a good time, and what a great interview. What a cool person, man. I mean, every one of these just seems to I'm not going to say top the last, because like all these people have been so fascinating, but it just continues to just make me feel so grateful that I'm in this community here in Denver and Colorado abroad, with all these fascinating gym owners.
Yeah, I think if anything, I think we're just getting better at interacting with our guests, and that's probably it. I mean, again, like I said, everyone we've met, especially all the gym owners, have been just so phenomenal. It's been really a treat. So again, I guess thank you very much. For helping me with this and helping make the Colorado Wolverines a reality. Obviously, shout out to TJ Steinbach that's out there that's feeding us all the extra intel and doing all the big brain stuff. That's and that's coming from 20-pound brains. Watch out. But he really puts us in the right direction and helps drive this train. I really appreciate it. But again, thank you all you fans. And if you're just checking this out, be sure to watch every Sunday. We're doing this, and check out obviously Colorado Wolverines on IG, and keep your eyes peeled, because hypothetically on July 25th, or around there, I'm not saying there's a date, but there might be a qualifier out there that's going to be dropped soon, and there's limited spots, and there's going to be a couple more, but the secret is usually the first one's the easiest one to win. Just saying, past performance is not guaranteed results, but just saying, as a guy that's watched the PGF in a few times. But anyways, again, we've run our sucks enough. I'm going to say goodbye to everyone, and so we can get back to these guys in the green room. So go.
Come to the qualifier, Wolverines.
Wolverines. Hey man, we can't all have 20-pound brains, but I'll do my best to help you out. All right. See you next week.